All right, everybody. How are y'all doing? Happy Saturday. Happy after the 4th, I guess. I hope you blew something cool up. Today, we are having a special guest. He is the chair of the Illinois Libertarian Party, which is damn cool because, that's like a very high ranking position, especially in a state like Illinois where I'm surprised there's libertarians. But, but yeah, man. How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on, and I'm thankful that after the fourth, I could still count all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. There was once or twice where we got close, but yeah, and I'm glad that as many people were surprised that we have a influence or a party of Libertarian Party in Illinois. I've actually heard that quite often this week after it's been about a week since I've been elected chair. So I'm like, yes, we
Right,
do
right.
have one. So, but yes, thank you again for having me.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I was actually tickled when you reached out. I was like, man, that's actually a really good that's a good conversation to have because like libertarianism, like you don't expect that in one of the evil seven like Illinois is. You have and that was like one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like since you're the chair, like how do you see the struggle going for like like gun rights, especially in my mind, because like that's the whole point of this podcast is convincing everybody that the great object is every man be armed. But like, how do you see that going forward in Illinois, especially things like free speech and things like that?
That's a very good question. And actually, one good thing that we've actually seen from the Chicagoland area, which, as we all know, is a very stronghold. Cook County and Chicago are just they are trying to take our rights from owning guns, having guns, and we had a lawsuit with a federal lawsuit. So the Chicago Libertarians um, had that, and it's being pushed, and it's actually going pretty well, especially in the blue area. It's pretty good. So one good
Mm-hmm.
thing is we're talking about the FOID card and
Mm-hmm.
how it's unconstitutional, as we all know. But
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we're trying to see, and it's also good because um, it's getting media coverage from our local areas like Fox, other things like that. So
Right.
now people at the news are kind of watching it. So if we see more of that, that's kind of the public outreach. Some of the behind the scenes, a former chair has made good conversations and good inroads with some of the uh, Congress people of Illinois for state level.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I'm trying to push as well. So that's kind of things that we're trying to push. And of course, as well as public outreach. For example, now we're talking for places that we don't even have libertarians necessarily in, or at least affiliates
Mm-hmm.
with that in Southern Illinois, and especially with that being kind of a more red area,
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at to more push the libertarian movement and also, again, get that going so that we could tell the state stop trying to take things or stop trying to give us more hurdles
Right.
in something that we are guaranteed from the Constitution that's uh, about 240 years old. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's been around for this
Oh
long.
yeah.
So that's kind of the uphill fight we have. So.
Yeah, and it's that is an excellent point because it really is an uphill point because you've got these like major like death zones like Chicago where the state is utterly convinced and probably for very good reason that people shouldn't have guns. But the thing is like you're not going to accomplish anything by taking the guns away from me and you. You're going to just make sure only the criminals have them, and the criminals are the real
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I mean, we see one of the things that J.B. Pritzker and Mayor, I think it was Lightfoot, Mayor Lightfoot or Rahm Emanuel.
Mhm.
So either a mayor ago or 2 mayors ago, they were like, "Listen, we're not going to come after the law abiding citizens. We're going to go for the black market." And what that meant was, oh, if you try to buy a gun and bring it like in Indiana. So like Hammond, Indiana, I know that's been a good talking point, especially if you're a Bears fan or interested in NFL. That's kind of a talking point. That's only
Right.
10, 15 minutes outside of Chicago. So what people would do is go across to Indiana, which is a much better gun rights and gun advocate state than Illinois. Buy the gun and come on over. And then some problems, and like you mentioned, it's even if the law-abiding citizens follow the laws, okay, here's the guns. That's not going to do too much because we all know criminals aren't going to follow the rules. I mean, that's part of being a criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and like, and the thing is even if somebody's not a criminal, if they're already like, if they had, let's say they have zero rap sheet, they've never been arrested before, if they're the type of person that's sick in the head and willing to kill someone over whatever, like, you're not going to be able to stop them unless you have the ability to respond with force, you know, because like, you know, when one of these tragic shootings happen, they've got to call somebody with guns, and then somebody with guns has to travel many minutes to get there while this is going on. It's not like somebody hits a stopwatch and like, oh, okay, the shooter's going to stop, wait until the cops get there and then battle it out. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to be able to kill.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not like a shot clock. Pardon the phrase. It's not like, okay, guys, your 24 seconds are up, so bye.
Yeah, exactly.
The cops will be here in a few seconds.
Yeah,
and also.
Yeah, it's absolutely tragic, man. Like, I just, like, they're trying to turn us into Illinois here, but like, I really genuinely don't think like any of these like New Jersey invaders have any idea what they've started, because like one of us gets, and like, if they even kill one of us, even the no-name guy, all of Appalachia goes to war. That's just how we are. You mess with me, you mess with the whole trailer park. Like,
and we know that when the trees start talking, especially in Appalachian language, that's when you're in danger. Fortunate Son starts playing, and you're like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, one of my buddies, Billy, who runs the Appalachian podcast, he posted a meme. It was the dude from Sonic. He was like, "Do you feel like you're in charge here?" But anyway, it was like, he said, he's like, when you whistle a tune, the trees whistle it back, and then you're like, are you really in charge here?
Yeah, one of the rules of Appalachia: if you hear a whistle, though, you did it. And
exactly.
And that's not even if you're going after the citizens.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's crazy, but yeah, I mean, like, when you said you wanted to talk about the Federal Reserve, I was actually like, all right, yeah. I mean, I know a fair bit about the Federal Reserve, and then I went ahead and purchased the book Creature from Jekyll Island, right? And I realized I didn't know shit about the Federal Reserve. Like, I had skimmed it in a library years ago, right? Well,
yeah,
I actually read it this time, and like, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know anything. So like, I mean, like, I have like some show notes typed up here, but I'm just gonna loosely go with those. But like, the thing is like, let me switch tabs here. But yeah, like, it seems like there's a good 4 or 5 chapters there where he's talking about like not even the Federal Reserve, but just the history of unsound money. You know, like way back in the day, we had like there was like coin clippers. Like, they would cut the edges off of coins and then they would melt it down, as you can see in the image here, and then they would make new coins out of it, which is counterfeiting, right? But then like, even before the government even started making money, like criminals would do it. And then when the criminals finally got stopped doing it, the banks would create fake money by issuing debt. And I'm just like, this is a fundamental flaw with human nature. This is not something we can fix by just ending the Fed. Like, this is, I don't know, man. But
yeah, I mean, and it's kind of hard, especially because if there's nothing to back that actual money, but kind of coin clippers, like, they're counterfeiting, that they had kind of a different tool for the economy back then. They even didn't counterfeiting, like, hey, wait a second, this isn't actual money, but it's more about what's behind that money, and I like it's kind of hard, especially when the bank's eating. Like, hey, wait a second, you know what? If we just give them more money than they have, then we could keep them as customers and keep getting money
Yeah,
on interest from
yeah,
them. So that's a great idea. Let's keep doing it. So sometimes the banks do learn from the people. Usually not the good terms. They usually find the loopholes like, hey, I like that. Let's use that and stop the other people from doing it so that it's only us doing it. So it's kind of a monopoly of counterfeiting.
right. Yeah, and it's just like, and the crazy thing is like, the book almost convinced me that the Federal Reserve was the least destructive form that this nonsense has taken. Like, it's still horrible. It's like it's
Mhm.
still horrible, but like, so we're sending all of this monopoly money out into the world by bucket with shiploads, just flooding the entire world with it and buying things with that fake money. And we're getting all the real wealth in exchange. We're getting food, we're getting cheap gas, we're getting all that, right?
Mhm.
We're getting medicines, we're getting, like, China owns all of the bacteria that produce our insulin. Like, they own all of it. Like, and we can't even get to it. So like, we have to buy from them where all of our diabetics die. So we're buying it with fake American money, and I'm just like, wow.
And China is also helping with it because they're like, well, first of all, yeah, we want to keep trading, but two, it's like, well, the more money, the more fake money you throw at us, the more fake money we have, or the more money we can have. So
Mhm.
yeah, just keep doing it. Why not? What's another $1 trillion in our economy when all we're basically doing is we're just trading off. A lot of the economy, I think I saw a graph. I'm not sure if it's still true or if it was true, but where it's like China is the most like gives us the most debt. We're the most indebted to, but also they are the strongest allies trading wise. Not allies, but
Mhm.
we get the most money from them as well. So basically,
Mhm.
we're just exchanging money. It's kind of like playing Monopoly with two players, and we both own all the properties anyway. So it's
Yeah.
just giving the money
Exactly.
back and taking it. So
Yeah, it's like it's this giant board game between Russia, China, and the United States, and everybody else is just puppets. Like, they're pawns on the board and getting just absolutely bodied. It's
instead of Broadway, it's Bosnia. Instead of all these other places, it's countries. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, these are actual countries full of people that are getting just freaking slaughtered, all because we print fake money. And I'm just like, man. But I mean, back to the historical point, like, none of this is new. So like, it turns out, like, Julius Caesar, like you can see in the picture here, like, even Julius Caesar, 20, like, yeah, 2,000 year, a little over 2,000 years ago, like, he was mixing zinc into the Roman silver supply, the sesterces, and it was stretching the metal amount. So like, he was creating 30% more money than there actually was. And and like, every bit of this comes down to making it be just this, like, the only thing that actually props these entire systems up is war. So like, this right here is the chart that almost everybody's seen at this point. This is a few years old. It's now 40 trillion. But like, I like to turn it upside down like this. Like, and if you follow the white line here, you're seeing your dollar fall off a freaking cliff, because it's already exponentially worse than this right here is now. Yeah. So for those of you who don't understand what inflation is, this is the way I like to explain it to people. So I want you to imagine an apple pie, right? And I'm going to hire Ray here. Ray, I want to hire you to mow my yard, and in exchange for doing that, I'm going to give you one big slice of this pie. Does that sound good to you?
Oh, of course, yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
Apple
Let's
pie,
go. I'm
everybody.
in.
All right. Ray goes to mow. He goes to mow. He does a good job. Doesn't even miss a spot. Does a great job. He comes back. He thinks that he's made a good bargain for that one piece of pie, but what he doesn't understand is that I've cut the pie into 100 pieces instead of 8. That's the big thing. The economy is a big pie. It is a big pie. But the more slices you cut that pie into, the more and more worthless a slice gets. So Ray's understandably quite pissed off at me because I just tricked him into doing very manual labor for a teeny tiny little slice of pie that's nothing. So next time Ray's smarter. Ray, he's gonna be like, I want 20 pieces of pie for the next time. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. He goes to mow again. He comes back and I've cut it into 1,000 pieces. So now he's got even fewer, he's got even less calories in that pie, in the 20 slices of pie that I'm giving him. That's how inflation works. I am cutting the same pie many, 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 many times. You're not actually generating value because you just go bake another fucking pie. But I'm cheating Ray. So therefore, Ray is very, very in the right to be mad at me. You know what I mean? So one thing that I'll point out is a lot of people don't understand how the Federal Reserve was founded. And it's called the Fabian Society. Now, John Maynard Keynes, he was, you've probably heard of Keynesian economics, right? So Keynesian economics was founded by the Fabian Society, right? It's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's their symbol. You can't make this up, you know. But like, so to point out like my point on wars, right? So you've heard of these two men, Muammar Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein, right? Well, what they were trying to do is create a gold-backed bank of Africa. Like they wanted to make Africa its own United States, technically, right? And what happened? They figured out an excuse and they went in and wiped them the hell out. They just blew everything up, destroyed the nations. Libya is shattered into a million pieces right now, even though it's technically still a country. And then, of course, we all know what happened to Iraq because we watched it on live stream on, TV, right? But all that gold still existed. Here's a picture you might be interested in. That one in the center there at the top, that's Tom Cotton. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's Tom Cotton right there. That's a U.S. senator when he was in the military. So, yeah, I wonder what happened to all that gold, Ray.
Well, if we were to believe, it should be in Fort Knox, right? Right?
No, I mean, it should be, but it's not. Honestly, I bet they just chopped it. I bet they chopped it up and made electronics out of it.
Probably, yeah, especially because around that time, smartphones and iPhones were started to become a thing, and computers became smaller and smaller. So you need the gold chips for something.
Yeah. In here in Appalachia, we've got more quartz than you could possibly know what to do with. Like, I mean, it's pretty much a mountain range made of quartz. There's a lot of it, and anywhere there's quartz, there's gold. But the issue is that it's in such trace amounts that it's not worth it to dig it up. So, like I'm sitting on an absolute freaking fortune right now, but I can't dig down deep enough to actually make it mean anything. You know what I mean?
Well, not with that attitude. Okay, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So a play you guys might have heard of in the past is like Faust. A man makes a deal with the devil for 24 years. And he's granted access to knowledge and understanding beyond any mortal man for 24 years. But eventually, the deal comes due, and that's the line I like to draw to the Federal Reserve, because eventually, people are just going to quit taking our money, and when they do that, we're effed. We're completely screwed, And like, so I think that goes back to when they quit taking our money, that's when wars are going to break out, because we're going to be like, okay, well, we've got to go to war for what we need now, which I genuinely think that's what the Strait of Hormuz is really about. Iran, that's what's actually going on. It's not good, but it's what's happening, Now, these Faustian bargains, like you've probably heard of, these are rife in human mythology. Like, it doesn't matter the culture you go to. Like, ancient Greece, you got Prometheus stealing fire from the gods. he's sentenced to have his liver ripped out every day by an eagle, which is what this painting here talks about. But like the one that I really like to focus on is like, because essentially what you're trying to do is you are trying to make a good thing last forever, and you keep printing money. You just think it's going to be okay. Congress did this at the start of the country, and he talks about this a little bit in the Creature for Jekyll Island book. And he's talking about how Congress would print so much money during the Revolution and during the years of Washington that there was this not worth a continental saying, right? And Washington himself was, I believe it was Washington, I'm paraphrasing, he said that a wagon full of Continentals would barely buy a wagon full of supplies for the army. So, and then they made them, and they passed laws saying that you're a traitor and you'll be killed if you don't take our money. So Congress had to take like a absolute, like you leave one tyrant, King George, for 3,000 tyrants like 1 mile away, like they say in the Patriot, you know. But anyway, so I think this quest for immortality is like is a issue in human psychology, you know. And we're going to eventually run out of time on that. Because if we're trying to make this last forever, like if you go back to 1950, a custom Ford sedan cost $1,500 to $1,700 in 1950. Now that same car is going to cost you about $50,000, you know, and it's absolutely crazy. And like the U.S. debt chart, like, you know, you can see our dollar falling off a cliff, and it's not going to end. It's not going to stop, because eventually World War III is going to happen and billions are going to die. And then that's going to fix the scarcity problem, because there won't be as many people to demand all the stuff. That's what happened during World War II. The reason the United States was in such a good economic position for that time is because everybody else's industry and infrastructure was destroyed in World War II. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and instead of keeping our toys in our own sandbox, we were one of the few countries to be able to go to somewhere else and bring our toys, weapons, and stuff like that. And so, except for Pearl Harbor and a few things happening on each coast, we weren't hit with anything. So of course we looked fantastic afterwards, and that's why I think that when these wars happen, it's probably gonna be in the Middle East for some reason. It's gonna be a small country, and of course both sides will be like, well, I want those resources. I also want that territory, because again, if you have a territory, you have the resources. So some of these, that's kind of what the Middle East is like the oil. You look at the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the war on terror. Like it wasn't about finding people. So yeah, what we found was, yeah, cool, but okay, that was we found we found Bin Laden in in whatever it was, like 2009, and we left in 2023. Why didn't we say, like, hey, we got it, we're good, let's go? So it's because of resources, and so some of these natural, like gold, water, and other things like that, I'm sure they're a bunch of puckering every time the news happens. They're like, oh no, is this the time?
Right.
Because you're right. Yeah. At some point, our debtors have been come knocking, and we're not going to be able to all of a sudden just like, oh yeah, sure, here's all the money. We're $40 trillion in debt. If we can't pay that debt, and we go to every other country that we're indebted to and say, hey, give us our money that we're owed, they're like, well, we can't do that.
Right.
So it's just everyone's going to be. You're right. It's going to be a land grab and resource grab, because it's how else are you going to be able to survive afterwards? So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, so the big thing is like, so yeah, I think we're running out of smaller countries, like you referenced, saying that I think we're running out of countries like to devour, because like, whether you want to, think of it in these terms or not, the United States is an organism, and it is hungry, and it's got a stomach that needs to be filled, and eventually we're going to run out of smaller states to destroy and just loot, and then we're going to have to turn our eyes on being like Russia or China. But the issue is Russia and China, Pakistan, all these other ones, these bigger ones, they got nukes. And that's going to get real spicy real quick. So, what you're seeing in issues like Ukraine is they are trying to indirectly collapse these enemies. Like, Ukraine is actually, let me just pull up Ukraine on Google Earth here real quick. Because, like, this is what did I do with this? Oh, here's a presentation. Hang on. It resets this thing all the time. I don't know. Give me a second. Oh, here we go. And great. Okay, yeah, there we go. Here we go. So if like, I'm zoomed in on China right now because we're going to talk about Emperor Qin in a minute, but let's go to Ukraine real quick. Yeah. So I could stare at Google Earth for freaking ever. It's my absolute favorite. So let's see here. Down here is Crimea. Okay. And this warm water here in the Black Sea, this is what Russia's actually needing to, like, that's why in 2014, Russia quickly moved to seize Ukraine. Crimea, in the Crimean Peninsula, because there's a warm water port here in Sevastopol, right? And this down here is where the old Byzantine Empire used to sit. And this warm water port in Sevastopol in this area, right? It's called, I don't know how to pronounce that because they don't speak English, I guess, but anyway, yeah. So Russia's trying to keep their economy from collapsing by seizing Crimea. So in a way, when our CIA did the takeover in 2014 to seat someone like Zelensky, they were taking a shot at Russia indirectly, because Russia has to start a big war to maintain this. So they're trying to pull the supports out from underneath. They're trying to let me minimize this again. But yeah, they're trying to pull the supports out from under a superpower and get it to collapse, which has pretty well been effective at this point, because Ukraine's boxing well above their weight, especially when it comes to drones.
Yeah, I mean, and I just saw today, I believe, somebody in Russia was like, "Oh, now we're doing a full-blown war." I'm like, okay, this war's been going on for a few years. If something's full-blown already, then I
I
don't
mean,
know.
both sides have lost a lot of people.
Yes, and for now, a whole lot of land, and of course, like you mentioned, they're not really looking for Ukraine. They're just trying to get more info, like more land closer to the
Yeah.
sea, and they're kind of like, okay, we're just trying to beat up a neighbor, and
Yeah.
that was really quick, and then it turned into a kind of like a Vietnam or Korea, where it's like another big country like, no, 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 you can't just do that. So
Mhm.
that's really what that is. It's just
Yeah.
it's kind of going back to doing that, and
Yeah. Like,
it has worked, like you mentioned, because even like Russia, the Soviet Union, that's what the United States did. They just
mhm.
outspent and pretended to have more and more weapons, to where Russia's economy, USSR's economy couldn't keep up, and they're like, ah, crap.
Mhm.
Well, we're out. We're done. We can't do anything. And then,
Mhm.
of course, with all the pressed people trying to come back to be like, hey, we're done with this, so that helps.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. In like these, I feel like they're just trying to just collapse these superpowers without the nukes falling, and that is surgery, man. That is like you got to have steady hands for that kind of surgery, because like I genuinely don't see any, I don't see any eventuality where Russia's losing and then they're like, okay, we're not going to use our nukes. I mean, obviously they would. We would, China would for sure, because China, like historically, and we're going to talk about them here in a little bit, but the China, they historically they just try to keep China together, and that's it. They don't really do the whole adventurism thing like doing the global empire like we do. They just try to keep that one area inside the Great Wall of China. Well, beneath the Great Wall of China, it's there, but yeah, like we're trying to indirectly collapse these superpowers. It's just a board game of risk. And I hate to think about it in those terms because millions of people are dying, but I mean, this is just the game these people are playing. And they're just
It's
trying
a
to, yeah, go ahead.
like it's a very expensive and costly
Hmm.
uh, game of chess and risk at the same time. And you put it
Hmm.
correctly. Like China's doing a good job of just hoarding and kind of putting all the pieces and all the resources in
Hmm.
China, while USA is trying to conquer the world. Um,
Yeah.
and at some point, if we stretched out, and like you said, if if and when these things start hitting the fan, uh,
Hmm.
it's not going to be pretty because with the weapons and the resources, it's going to be like, hey, we got to do what we got to do. And with
Right.
these countries, they don't care about a few million people. I mean, obviously, if you go to war
Hmm.
for 20 plus years and
Hmm.
have thousands of people and millions of dollars per day spent on it, they don't care about a few people just as long
Yeah.
as they get to survive. So
Yeah. One thing I like to tell people is like go actually read your birth certificate. Almost nobody has. Like you are a corporation. Ray Walden is a corporation, and that corporation is owned by the United States government, and they can issue debt in your name.
yeah,
I'm like, no, you know, that's where I'm at. That's where
yeah,
I am not a corporation. I'm a person, damn it. But yeah, so like if we go back to like let's just go over here to China real quick and let's talk about Emperor Qin Shi Huang, right? So Emperor Qin is what the entire country of China is named for, right? So Emperor Qin is, let me pull this up just a little bit. So Emperor Qin, he was a feudal lord and he managed to unify all of China. But this guy was a psychotic tyrant. Like he makes Abraham Lincoln look okay. Like this guy like he conquered all of China, unified all of China, got rid of the feudal lord system, which on the nose of it was a good thing. But the thing is what he did afterwards is he worked the population to death on things like the Great Wall. Because let's pull over the Great Wall here. Let's look at. So they were worried about the Mongolians, right? They were gonna invade and everything because like they was their historical enemy. And this is like a picture of like some of the ruins of the Great Wall of China. And in its heyday, you could march entire platoons down this thing. Of course, it would be, maybe 5 or 6 abreast, but still, like the larger parts of it, you could march an entire army down. And you can see parts of this thing from space, but like, so he immediately started putting all of the Chinese people to work. And in some of the areas that they've excavated, that they even used human bodies for mortar underneath the Great Wall of China. And and so like and that's like just one of the things he did. So when like he was obsessed with immortality, and I feel like the quest for immortality is just that disease in the human mind where we're just obsessed with trying to make a good thing last forever. You're trying to live forever, the health bars and all that, the craze. The Federal Reserve is just another symptom of that. So this guy, he's taking mercury daily in pill form, and he's just going crazy slowly, right? And these are the more tourist parts of the Great Wall. But you could see an army coming from days away up here. That's why he built this. And you can make an argument saying, oh, the Great Wall of China is like, it was necessary in the time, and yes, it very much was. But like the extremes he went to build it, like using human bodies as mortar, like if he worked them to death in exhaustion, right? And then he used them as mortar once they died from working so hard. So when I named this podcast the Great Object Podcast, I had men like Emperor Qin Shi Huang as, as in mind, because if these people had been armed, you wouldn't see them being used as mortar in a fortification build, which can be seen from space. And anyway, so like he gets buried down here. Let me pull up. Where did I get that? Let's see over here. Emperor Chen's burial site. Here we go. Oh, I had it upside down, so I didn't recognize anything. Okay, so this right here, this actually, it looks fairly flat if you look at it here on Google Earth, but this thing actually almost rivals the Great Pyramids of Giza. When he was buried, finally, like he finally accepted that he was going to die one day, but like him taking mercury pills and jade for so long, these are very poisonous chemicals, right? We now understand them today to be lethal things that nobody should ever take. And he finally went crazy, and during this whole time he's working the entire population to death. But his funeral plateau, if you look at it, like let me pull up the measurement thing here. So his funeral plateau, if you go right here to all the burial pits, it's almost 6 kilometers wide. Like all the burial pits that are in this area. And you've probably seen some of this, like with the terracotta warriors and things like that. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, so here's the terracotta warriors. This guy, like all of these, if you look at their faces, these were made in the likeness of all his soldiers. Like no one face is repeated because each of these was a person. And he took them with him to the afterlife. And of course, he was the first emperor who actually, made them life size. But I hope you're drawing a line in your head from the Federal Reserve over here to Qin Shi Huang and the whole terracotta warriors and being buried and just working his population to death. Like this guy took over, and it was the worst thing in the world, and like almost nobody knows his name, right? So like when China overthrows their emperors 50 something years ago, like whatever, well, let's say 70, like you're looking at like, oh my God, I get it. Like they wanted to be free of these psychotic people like this, So like, yeah. So when this guy was buried, to my knowledge, his burial tomb hasn't actually been opened yet, but he has this entire this bronze hammered map of China made, and he uses mercury to make quicksilver, and all the lakes and oceans and everything around it is made with mercury and quicksilver. And they were actually able to, I think it's through LiDAR, scan the soil underneath and like detect the mercury in the soil. And the legend is true. Like we haven't seen it yet, and I hope that before I die we do get to see inside of his tomb. But this psychotic mf'er, right, he has a bronze made map of China, and he's buried on top of it. His tomb is on top of this thing, underground, deep underground, and it's made with mercury and quicksilver for all the water and everything. So we're talking like the first Google Earth image, and he made it like 2,300 years ago or something. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Like, but if his people had been armed, like one man psychotic wanting to make it last forever, like that's the issue.
Yeah.
So anything you got, Ray?
Well, I was just kind of thinking about the funeral stuff. I'm like, man, personally, I just want to be cremated. This guy,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
pull out. I just wanted to be cremated. Not the mercury stuff. I mean, if I wanted to have all that mercury, I'd just buy a few thermometers and break them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just yeah, like I can't even begin to imagine like the level of narcissism it would take to do the things that Emperor Chen did. But and like almost nobody knows his name these days.
Yeah,
It's like, and you study one tyrant like that, and there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them, right? Just one
yeah,
tyrant like him will convince you that every man needs to be armed. Like, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, gay, who gives a crap. You need to have an M60 on every corner of your freaking house.
yeah. And have the Roomba have a claymore and make sure that when you use a code, Fortune and Sun starts blurring from your Ring doorbell. Definitely. No,
Exactly.
so I wonder if, kind of like the Federal Reserve, I wonder if his idea of this was, listen, we need to make sure that our country is defensible and we know someone's going to come attack us. So
Hmm.
we need to build this. And kind of the scaring the citizens into submission,
Hmm.
because we can't see that with the Federal Reserve. It's like, well, we can't have the gold. We can't have the gold standard because we're going to run out of gold and we got to fund the war. And you don't
Hmm.
want the other side to win, so
Hmm.
go along with us and it'll be all fine at the end, fine and dandy at the end. I wonder if that's kind of the same case,
Yeah,
because
yeah. I really think it is. I really do think it is, because I I know I spoke for a few minutes there, but like I didn't even get into like the really messed up shit that he did. Like he would skin people alive just for things that he imagined that they did. Like you got to imagine, you got to understand, this guy was slowly going crazy, and he was already a piece of shit when he wasn't going crazy. So
of
like he
course,
was slowly going crazy by taking mercury, which everybody knows that that's where the whole Mad Hatter thing comes from, because
exactly.
hatters back in like in the day, they used a mercury based glue, and they would slowly go insane, right? But this guy was literally ingesting it. So yeah, so like he would also, one thing he would do is it was illegal to speak any other language other than Chinese. uh, Forget what the proper name for Chinese is right offhand, but like he like it was mandatory to kill anybody who spoke anything else. So like so like
Can you only imagine trying that in the United States or
yeah,
anywhere in the world?
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
that would just
like
be. Although some people would probably be okay with that.
yeah, yeah.
That's a whole different topic.
So when I tell you that Genghis Khan was the greatest libertarian that ever lived, like these are his enemies.
Yeah,
So like so yeah, Genghis Khan's kind of understandable now, like when you realize just the monsters that lived to the south of him, and like what they did to their own people, let alone what they did to other people. But yeah, like I mean, I kind of get it, like Mao Zedong taking over and being like, no more emperors, we're just gonna get rid of this. You know? But yeah, it's crazy, man. But like you could just dive into so many different history topics. um but yeah, like I just feel like comfort is the worst poison that humanity has. Like, people get comfortable, and then they want to make it last forever. So then they start printing money, or they start taking mercury pills and going crazy and skinning people alive. I feel like that's the whole point that I was getting during the whole Creature from Jekyll Island thing. But yeah, let's see here. So yeah, I covered the founding of the Fed. Um, so like, as chair of the Libertarian Party of Illinois, what sort of steps are you wanting to take to like build our numbers base? Because like most of our conventions, like the one I went to recently in South Carolina, there was 10 people in the room. 10 people aren't changing anything, and they never will. Like what are some of your ideas for like getting us to be more?
So that's a great question, and you're right. I mean,
Mm.
as a libertarian, it's the Illinois Libertarian Party convention. We had, I think, 40 people, and
No.
it was a little bit less than we had. And we
Mm.
think it's because of location. A lot of
Mm.
our libertarians live up towards Chicago. This was the middle of Illinois, so
Mm.
that was kind of we were kind of thinking, but what I am working on and kind of working with the other affiliates, whether it be Chicago, a few other county areas, is
Mm.
one, doing more events outward, like outward
Mm.
outreach, basically. Whether it be going to parades and just handing out flyers,
Mm.
or doing opinions in newspapers, stuff like that. But also, a lot of our affiliates meet at the local bar and grill and this and that. So I want to go there and kind of spend a few minutes with just the other people who aren't part of the Libertarian Party and discussing with them because I truly believe um, that everyone has a little bit of libertarian in them, and
Mm.
I'm okay if it's after the discussion it's someone says, hey, yes, I agree with some of these things, but I'm not going to join the party.
Mm.
That's fine with me. I'm okay
Mm.
with people just learning what it is and being like, hey, wait a second,
Mm.
I like this, and this. So maybe looking at candidates in our areas who have this and that.
Mm.
Because in my case, locally, I had a alderman who was a Democrat, but if you really talk to him, you're kind of
Mm.
like, hey, here's my ideas. He goes, yeah, I've been talking about that at city council. So it's really just getting the outreach and talking to those state level people, the local level people, and just trying to get
Mm.
public outreach for it because, like I said, I think the issue with the Libertarian Party, one of
Mm.
the issues, not the issue,
Mm.
is that not enough people know it or understand it.
Mm.
They just think it's a third party and they're like, oh, you're a spoiler, who cares? Instead, it's like,
Mm.
no, we have values. We're not just running people against the two parties just for the hell of it. If
Mm.
so, that's we're not gonna last. We wouldn't last 50 plus years. I think we're at
Mm.
56 years. So
Mm.
that's kind of some of the things I have planned, and also just trying to build other affiliates. So whether it be going down to Central Illinois, just talking to some people like, hey, you guys want to join? Or talking to
Mm.
members that we do have and say, hey, let's start trying to work on getting you guys meeting times, meeting places, and
Mm.
just trying to go from there. Because I think
Mm.
grassroots is the best way. I mean,
Mm.
I could scream from the top of my building, Libertarian Party, and people would be like, okay, this is crazy.
Mm.
Or we could talk to people at bars, parks,
Mm.
parades, and get a few more people. So it's gonna be
Mm.
one of those, but it's not gonna be grown overnight. It's gonna be kind of like the building of many things, and just kind of working on trying to get a few members, whether it be a few months or a few years.
Mm.
It's gonna take time, and um, I'm ready for that battle, and thankfully most of the team, most of the team that I've talked to are
Mm.
behind me went fully, and the ones we even are, they're like, yeah, I'll help. I'm just not timing. Like, depends on how much time I have,
Mm.
because they're busy lives too. So
Mm. Yeah, whenever I finish my pamphlet, like I know I've been working on it for 4 years. I'm sorry, it's a time consuming process because I'm not a graphic designer. Like I'm a writer, you know. So, like anyway, it's about how to talk to the police, and I feel like that would be a very important pamphlet. I'll just send you guys a bunch of them
oh
to
yeah,
pass
yeah.
out for your like
I mean,
talking around. Because like in Chicago, like there's this one place called Homeland Center. Um, like I don't know if you've ever seen that show. The one where the woman becomes the lawyer. It had to be designed by libertarians because like it's a law drama show. The Good Wife. That's it.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, so I watched that show. It like going into it, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a chick flick. Like, no, it's not. It's actually showing the in-depth like government corruption and all the like what have yous and stuff like that in the law, right? and it's based in Chicago. And anyway, one of the places they have is called it's called like Holman Center or something like that, and they completely get to ignore the Fourth Amendment there. Like they just take people off the street, lock them up in that building, and then they're like, oh, "There's nobody locked up in here." So and lawyers can't even get in there to have access to their like to the people that they're serving. So like you're breaking the Fifth Amendment with that, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like when like and I pray nobody from Illinois takes offense when I call Illinois one of the evil seven, but that's what I mean when I say evil seven, because like New Jersey, like if they even suspect that you have a gun in the car, they just crack into the car and beat the crap out of you. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a legal citizen or not. You know, so like certain states like that, you know, is what I refer to as the evil seven, because like there's good people in those states and they need to be able to like have defense against these crooked cops, right? But yeah, everybody go watch The Good Wife. It's actually really good. But and then there's like a spin-off series which is even better. I forget what it's called. The Good Fight. That's the one. Yeah. But so like Illinois property taxes, like it seems like you guys have like the highest property taxes in the country, right? Like
Yes, yeah. I think California and Illinois trade off
okay.
every few cycles because
Okay.
but I think in this case I think we still are. If not, then like, we're probably a percent or two
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
California.
Yeah, and that's tragic because like so like how like do you have any ideas for how to fight that? Like because like here you can kind of set up like a trust to a degree, and then like there's some hullabaloo like that you can do, but like I don't know how it would work in Illinois because each state is different, you know. And like
Yeah.
our property taxes are fairly low though. It's like $700 for a year for my house, but you know.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go Google Virginia tax housing
Yeah.
because I made that joke yesterday on Twitter because I think Missouri governor just said that they're working on eliminating the the state income tax, so which is good stuff,
Mhm.
and so I made the joke saying, "Oh, I'm going to just move to Missouri." Um, but so one of again, kind of the same issue with the gun rights is
Mhm.
talking with the local people, being like, guys, listen. And when I talk to the local people, like my city officials, they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, man, property taxes are high. I'm like, you guys are the ones doing it because
Mhm.
we have one for municipality for the county because that one's really high, and we have
Mhm.
one for the state, federal, like all these things, and each level is like, oh no, just blame the higher ups. If you don't like it, blame for in our case, if you don't like the city tax, oh well, blame Tony Pepperwinkle because she's making it harder for us to do things without having to raise property tax. And then
Mhm.
Tony Pepperwinkle will say, well, blame JB Pritzker because I wanted Caesar to do that because it's JB Pritzker. Or two, well, he's spending all these things. We got to get money somehow. And then you go to
Mhm.
JB Pritzker. Well, blame Donald Trump. It's like, or we just take accountability and work on it. And so one thing that I'm lucky to have is my state senator is his office is right by my work. So every
Mhm.
so often I go knock on his door and be like, hey, what's up? I think
Mhm.
pretty soon we'll be on a first name basis, or he's gonna close the blinds when I walk up. Not sure
Mhm.
which one, but it's working at the local level because we have seen that if we kind of start pushing it and making it sound like other people should push it, we get
Mhm.
more people getting these calls to local officials saying, "Hey, we gotta
Mhm.
stop this." So that's one way. For other loopholes, I mean, I know some people who each year goes to some of the libertarian CPAs to tell you like, hey, let's start working on this property tax and figuring out how to do that. So just kind of and secretly trying to get enough people to know those loopholes without the government knowing that the loopholes are, because then they're going to close it and it's going to be becoming
Yeah.
much more worse. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that. And I'm also, since I don't actually own property, I rent. I'm not too sure. I don't really pay the property tax, so but I do know it's high, and I see people leaving in droves. I mean, I think U-Haul's Employee of the Year is two people. It's Sherry Pritzker and it's Tony Paprico, who's the Cook County president, because they they are sending people out left and right, and it's not because they feel it's dangerous or they can't find jobs. It's because they're getting taxed way too much, so they go somewhere else. And so that's one of the things that's like. Well, luckily, I do see some politicians in both the Democrats and Republican side as well, also kind of being like, "Hey, this needs to change." So talking with them, working with them, and also pushing it on a state level for the party, and just pushing that out there, getting the outreach of it. That's what we're trying to work on as well.
Yeah. So like with people who rent, like they actually pay way more property tax than anybody because like you don't own the place that you're in right now, but you're paying the guy's property tax who does.
Oh yeah.
So every time they want to put like a new social program up, which is socialism. So every time they want to put a new one of those up, and they want to, the way they're like, oh, well, we can raise property taxes to pay for it because these rich people have too much money. But the issue is, like, when they raise the taxes on those rich people, they're like, okay, well, I'll just raise the rent. Like, I don't care. Like, they're actually hurting poor people directly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you don't just become rich and just be like, oh yeah, well, of course I'll pay the taxes. All these rich celebrities are saying that,
Yeah.
but then when you finally start doing it, they're like, oh wait a second, you guys are serious? Well, I'm gonna start a new thing to where I don't have to, or they send it, they give it to the lower people, kind of like tariffs, like we weren't supposed to pay it, yet here we are, we see charges and stuff like that. So it's a way of just keeping their property making a lot more money. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a rotten system. It's almost impossible to break because sure, if you want to be mad about Elon Musk being the first trillionaire, the issue is all of that's tied up in assets. And looks like we lost Ray.
I'm still here. Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, cool. See, like my last episode, right? The CIA was like, I feel like they were like hacking dude's phone, right? Like he was going off on this like epic rant tangent, and then it just starts cutting out little by little, and then. And I'm like, he was being too based. He was being way too based.
I accidentally hit the home button. And
that's okay.
Because I was hoping the camera might have cut off the microphone, but that was my bad. So, yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. I was like, man, they were like Ray was being too base for him. But yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's so yeah, it's just like we can keep up this quest for immortality that the Federal Reserve has given us. We can keep this rotten system going, or we can just figure out some other way. But the issue is like I feel so. Something I was talking with Phil Ryan about like not too long ago is that I feel like even though all of us might disagree on a fair number of topics, right? Like we still need to start thinking of each other as the new founding fathers, because like what I do writing every single day is what Patrick Henry used to do. Now I'm not about to bias our first warship or anything, but the thing is like like all these guys, they were writing for years leading up to the revolution. They were the thinkers that were like thinking up a new nation. So like no one of us are gonna 100% get our way, But the thing is like we need to be like, okay, Ray's one of the new founding fathers, and we're gonna have to sit down. We're gonna figure out something works for everybody, because all this bullshit that's going on in the world right now doesn't work for anybody, And if it wasn't for blowing up brown kids, it wouldn't be working right now, And and I don't know. It's just I wish that there was a way to break it, but like if you go back to Aristotle, like he's talking about the same exact problems that that we're talking about right now. Like if you read Plato's Republic, it literally reads like a podcast. It's four buddies sitting around trying to discuss how to create the perfect state. And like these like this was like 2,500 years ago too. So like these are not new problems that we're facing. So like to a degree, we have to keep that in mind. Be like, we've been trying to fix this problem for 3,000 years, and it's still here.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so let's take some questions from the audience here. Let's see. I am for we says okay. Here we go. Should every county become a nation state? One country could vote for a no 2A and another for 2A. Thoughts? You want to take that one, Ray?
Sure. And actually, for the past 5 to 7 elections, Illinois counties have been having a referendum to separate from Cook County, non like arbitrary, but like or non, I forgot what the word is, but like it's not sealed, but they're like, hey, well, if it works, let's do it. And each year they have 1 or 2 more counties that sign on for it. Again, I think we're at 14 counties, and I could see that we could do that. That's a good idea because really, I mean, if a county like let's say Cook County says, yeah, no, we don't need a 2A. We can trust the cops. They're the good ones. That makes sense. Sure. And the other counties could be like, no, okay, hey, don't come crying to us when it happens. So if everyone were able to do that, that could work. But the problem I see is sometimes people in one nation state, let's say a county would be a nation state, they would cross over. It's like, well, then do you automatically have to not have a gun with you, or this and that, when you have concealed carry, and you should be able to take it wherever you want. So there is some pros and cons. If this would have been done, probably like let's say the Articles of Confederation would have worked. That would have been the time to do it. I don't think now would be a good time. And maybe Travis, you have a different idea on that one.
So like for me, like I genuinely believe being armed is a God-given human right, and it's not just an American right either. Like I'm talking, if you're in Lucknow, India, or Beijing, China, or Moscow, Russia, or wherever the hell you are, you need to be armed, because the only thing that's going to guard your autonomy, your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is that you can respond with force if someone does. Because like I don't know if you ever seen that old movie Hidalgo. Like there's a saying in that movie, he's like, God didn't make every man equal, but Samuel Colt did. And Samuel Colt did make every man equal. Like a 5'0" dude who weighs 80 pounds soaking wet can take down a 300-pound linebacker. That's equality, you know. Hi Heather, how are you? But yeah, that's my wife's birthday party out there. But yeah, so yeah, I just think that like I feel like our founding fathers started something truly beautiful. Starting out like if you look at the Pennsylvania state constitution, where like because our nation was founded in Philadelphia, which the city's fallen to a sorry state now, but that's the seed that our country was born in, right? And the Pennsylvania State Constitution, Article 1, Section 21 says The right of the people to keep and bear arms in defense of themselves and of the state shall not be questioned. Like, they embedded it to the point where you're not even allowed to question, hey, Ray, do you have a gun? I've already broken the law. I've already broken the Constitution by even asking you that question, you know. And CIA's getting you again.
No,
But yeah,
yeah.
I like that joke. I'm sorry, but yeah. So
There you
like,
go.
I genuinely think that it doesn't matter where you are in the world. The second that you allow yourself to be disarmed, you've already started a countdown timer for atrocities against yourself and against your own people. Because like, if you look at the Armenian genocide, like, you had the Bolsheviks and like all them people coming in, they were nailing little girls to crosses and things like that after the Armenians had disarmed themselves. So like, when we got these invaders here in Virginia, like Saddam, whatever his name is, like, okay, you want to move here from Bangladesh, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, you can become an American if you want to, right? But he didn't assimilate. That's the problem. And he came here and he's like, I'm going to take away all their guns. No, you're not. But the thing is we understand that if we give up our guns, we're inviting death. And we're keeping our guns because we're keeping death at bay,
Mm-hmm.
and that is like, I genuinely believe Heinlein nailed it, and he said that an armed society is a polite society. So like, it doesn't matter the structure or whatever the government is, and I could talk all day about this because this is just something that I ran about constantly to my family. But like, it doesn't matter what form the government takes, whether it's some Caesar or king or whatever, or like a direct democracy. It doesn't matter. The great object is that every man be armed. And if they ever stop being armed, that's when Group B is going to be like, hey, we can just go kill them. We can get what we want if we go kill them. They can't fight back. And that's my answer to your question. Why I am for we. So like, I just I could talk all day about that subject, but let's see. He also says, for the first time in human history, we could have sound money via the blockchain technology. It could have scarcity and fixed annual supply rate of growth. You want to go with that one, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we, um, the only real issue I see is who would who would work on that with the scarcity and fixed part because I mean we talk about the government and COLA, the cost of living adjustment. It's like, well, you're the one that are pretty good, and then they sometimes don't even talk about inflation with it, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the issue I see is who decides it? Who has the final say? If it's still the government, then it kind of is not going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if humans are as a collective, I
Mm-hmm.
hate using the word collective, but as a group, can say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if we'll be able to do that regularly to where there is no scarcity and it
Mm-hmm.
can the growth. So that's the only
Mm-hmm.
issue I see with it. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but that's
Mm-hmm.
what my problem would be.
Yeah, like, I personally love Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and all that, because like the math and all that makes sense to me. The proof of work, where you have to actually like invest so much energy into a coin in order to be rewarded with with mining a coin, right? Like, all that makes sense to me. But the issue is like, where I grew up here in the mountains, there's a good maybe 2 weeks total out of the year, because the power grid is pretty stable now, but like, there's a good 2 weeks out of the year where like, we won't have power at all because of a really bad storm or ice storm, or a tree just randomly falls to a breeze and knocks out this big thing, right? When I was a kid, and this is where the whole survivalist angle comes from, is like, I had to get good at that stuff. Like, I had to get good at like living without electricity and things like that, because we would get like a 4 foot snow, and we would be without power for like a month, and you get used to living like that rather quickly, right? Even city people, like, they might not realize that they will get used to living like that very quickly. But the thing is during those times when there's no power outage, when there's a big major power outage, you're not going to be able to use that Bitcoin. And the perfect enemy that we're fighting, these globalist wolves in sheep's clothing, Fabian Society, Federal Reserve, the ones that'll wipe out millions of people in a bombing campaign in Lebanon, they won't think twice about cutting the power grid. Like, they will destroy the power grid, or a random terrorist could blow the power grid with just a very simple rifle. Because, like, I used to work in construction building substations, and these things are so fragile. They're made of glass and aluminum, and like the toughest part is like a half-inch piece of steel, and like almost like everything above a 22 can pretty much punch through that. So like my concern with Bitcoin is like they can cut your access to it at any time, even though the blockchain is mathematically perfect. And that's what I worry about. So that's why I focus on like gold and silver. Like, gold and silver will always and forever be money. They will be accepted under any circumstances. It doesn't matter. Now, you can have your FDRs, you try to make them illegal and be like, hey, you're going to jail if you keep gold. But you know what? I can dig a hole with a shovel, and good luck finding it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it looks like that's most of our questions here. So what did I do? Here we go. Yeah, hide. There we go. So let's talk about homework. So I like to ask my guests to give everybody homework. I'm gonna do it too. Physical task, a mental task, and a social task, because I feel like we need to be mind, body, and soul. We need to build our body stronger. We need to get bigger. So like, we need to get more swole or more athletic, right? Because you can't live a free life unless you can do things for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mental task could be like a problem, your favorite book to read, like what you want us to read, your favorite book, or like something like a problem or whatever. And then social task is something that builds community, that gets us out there and networking with people. And I'll let you take it away from there.
All right. So for the physical, I love walking. I love walking around. That's kind of my plan. So I think a good task would be, depending on how able you are and all that stuff, try to walk a mile a day.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it could be around the block, could be at a track, could be on a treadmill. I don't care how you do it, just do it. And if you're better at running, that's totally fine too. It's just kind of keeps your legs active, keeps you active, and just it's again kind of one way it works with me. It also kind of just gives me time to think about just random things and just get to see good nature. So that's my task for maybe the week or a few days.
Okay.
So for the mental task, I really love reading The Case Against Socialism, and that's from Rand Paul.
Okay.
And I was able to kind of read that. It's not a huge read, but it's kind of, it looks big, but the pages are kind of small, bigger text. So if you're able to either get a copy online or even at the local library, wherever you get it, that's just my personal favorite thing to do. And if you haven't read it, I would say reading it. And then for the social one,
Okay.
I think everyone should, when they're out and about and they see other people, maybe just be three people, could be three or five people, just chat with them about something political. Don't make it super political. Just talk to them about how their daily life is going, and what kind of changes they would like to see, and then kind of talk to them about how it's like, hey, well, that sounds a lot like this, or a lot like that, and just try to talk with them while understanding we are different people. and Travis, you mentioned this. Like, we are going to agree on everything, but if we find that one common ground that works, and also it'll
Mhm.
help you as a person
Mhm.
be able to kind of strike up a conversation easier with other
Mhm.
people, and especially with strangers. That's the
Mhm.
hardest part I know, because I could talk to my friends all day, every day. And
Mhm.
if I start talking political, like, hey, shut up, you're done. Like, we've already gone through that rabbit hole. But
Mhm.
with strangers, you're able to start talking to them more and understanding what other people are seeing. And I think
Mhm.
that's the main focus is understanding what other people are
Mhm.
seeing from you, because I could pretend to know exactly what you're thinking or what you think of something else, but I don't
Mhm.
know until I talk to you. And
Right.
we all are so different people. So
Mhm.
that's my homework.
Perfect.
And for some people
That's
that might be
exactly.
super easy, and some people it's gonna take some time. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the whole point of the homework is that it's not easy. You know, like some people, it's not easy to walk a mile a day. I
Yes.
ruck with a 40-pound bag every day. It's like with for a mile. You know.
Oh,
Um,
I've seen the posts. And
yeah,
I think I've gotten jealous a few times. Like, man, if I could do that, then
yeah.
this mile would be nothing. Yeah.
Trust me, I had a heart attack from COVID like 2 years ago. Like when I first got out of the hospital, I made myself get up and clean the litter box to my cats. It felt like somebody had beat the crap out of me when I was done. Like a very easy task. Like I had to nibble at this. Like the whole mile climb every Friday, that did not come quick. Like
Oh, I
you
bet.
have to you have to work up to it. You'll be like, this is my goal and I want to be able to climb a mountain with a heavy ass bag. That's what I want, you know.
Mhm.
And like, but I also every like at least 1 mile every day I'll walk with that bag on my back, and because I've done that for so long, I don't even feel the bag anymore. You know, like your body gets used to things that it does every single day. You know,
Yeah.
so like I want that to be my baseline strength. But like in the gym, I'm getting exceptional strength. So you get your baseline strength that you're just used to doing every day, and then you got like, oh, I do this 100-pound push, you know, whatever here a few days, you know, and you don't start at 100 pounds. You start at maybe 20, you know, and then
Hmm.
baby steps. You know, you need to go baby steps and get it, you know, take nibbles at it. And eventually you'll nibble at it enough to where, oh, hey, I'm benching 350, you know, things like that. So that's it, man. But thank you so much for coming on, dude. I was excited when you asked me about this. I was like, dude, like I really do think, especially people in the Evil Seven, because like liberty is really under assault in those
Yes.
places. Like we've got a little bit of a battle going on here in Virginia, but like you're living in the front lines of the war zone, you know. So, but yeah, plug anything you want to plug. Tell people where we can find you. Anything you're working on, like anything you need support for, especially things that like. Give us a call to action. You know, like what is the Illinois Libertarian Chair telling us we need to do? Go.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So first of all, you can follow me on Twitter at boldgold94,
Uh-huh.
um, where I post pretty regularly, actually. Some people may say too much. You can
Mm-hmm.
follow the Libertarian page of Illinois at LPIL on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter as well, and Facebook. We have a few pages. Right now, what we're working on is kind of uh, just really the push for the gun rights. I mean, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
one of those big things that we are not putting the foot down towards. I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned earlier we have the lawsuits that are gaining a lot of getting a lot of media and traction, and so that's just something that we kind of want to keep going. Is trying to push the ability for every citizen to one
Mm-hmm.
uh, being able to not have their rights being taken, and two to
Mm-hmm.
understand that it is being taken, that law-abiding citizens should have guns, not should be not
And
giving them.
and
Yes.
everybody pay attention to the ticker because I've got his bold gold 94 and Illinois tag in the ticker here. So yeah. So but yeah. So you can keep going if you want. Sorry, I just want to make sure.
No, yeah. And so, but also because it's such kind of a new job, my feet just got wet.
Mhm.
We're kind of seeing what other things are going on, and the Illinois General Assembly is out of session right now, so there's not really much going on besides hearing about uh, both sides being like, oh, well, the Bears lost because of this, or are doing the I'm okay with the Bears not being in Illinois because that means we're not flipping the stadium bill. So
Mhm.
I think that that's something we could be focusing on is just the property taxes as well.
Mhm. Yeah, like I don't even pay attention to sports at all. So people will be like, "Did you see the game?" I'm like, "What game?"
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I
And I
actually
mean,
used to watch football like a long time ago, and then I realized I was cheering for Dirty Laundry, and I was like, "Oh, so they just trade players all the time." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I just trailed off. Like I would play
yeah,
football with some friends or something, but I'm not gonna sit there and watch it, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on, dude. If you guys need anything from us, like at the American Liberty Caucus or anything, reach out. Cause like all of us state reps, like I'm the state rep for Virginia. Like we'll get like a bunch of people together to do phone banking for you. Like
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
we've actually get like I know we're like one of the more quiet caucuses because we're not like into the whole drama thing.
Yes.
But we will it doesn't matter if you're like a Chase libertarian or like a Toad libertarian, whatever. Who cares? Like just reach out to us and we'll put a phone bank together for you and we'll get people elected.
Oh yeah.
And like Shelly, she's the shit at this. Like she knows how to organize a phone bank. So yeah, like let all your other state chair people know, like we're here to help. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. Yeah,
But
definitely. And I actually just learned about the American Liberty Caucus this year going
mhm,
into convention. So I got to talk to a few of them that tabled their tabled their table.
mhm,
And I'm a new fan, and because I was part of some caucuses that were part of the infighting, I
mhm,
kind of left that part because I was just focusing
mhm,
infighting on infighting. Like, guys,
mhm.
this is the house for
Well,
liberty.
well, if we're tearing chunks out of each other, we're not tearing chunks out of the perfect enemy. We're fighting
Amen.
like we're genuinely fighting this elite, like with like people who can print infinite money. They have all the military technology. They have nukes. They can blow up anybody they want, shoot them in broad daylight, and then make it illegal to ask questions about it. And we're
Yeah,
taking like they're trying to trick us into me and you fighting. No, that's not going to happen.
yeah,
Like that's just no. Like, and they're blowing up thousands of people. Literally, they've probably killed like 1,200 people in the time me and you's been speaking.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
so. Yeah, there's no reason for us to be fighting. Like, if you think the government sucks, you're a brother of mine. That's all there is to it.
exactly. Yeah,
But yeah, so I guess we're coming up on time here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Ray, for guesting. This has been a great
oh, the honor
conversation.
was all mine. Yeah, the honor
Yeah.
was all mine. Thank you so much for having me on and letting me interrupt your great talk on it. And I learned a lot from this episode,
Right.
and I was I was just amazed on it. And I got some of the show notes. So I was kind of I did some research on it too. I'm like, ooh, I better try to tell him about that. Else he comes up like scratch that one off. So you really did a great job on it. So
I've got
again,
a really boring job where I'm a mechanic. Like once you've taken one car apart, they're just kind of all the same. So like I get a lot of time to just sit there and think. So, but yeah, so I guess I'll take us out unless you got anything else you want to say, and then I guess
yeah,
that's pretty much the show. All right, thank
awesome.
you
Yep,
guys for
thanks.
watching. Yep, thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, the great object is that every man be armed. Y'all have a good night.